All right, hey guys, welcome to Oregon Politics Live for June 17th, 2026. I'm going to talk about recent news articles that highlight issues facing Oregon and possible solutions and action steps. All right, so I'm going to talk about Oregon's aging population poses a challenge for economic revival. Trout route shuttle on the Sandy River, social media sketches for transparency in healthcare, doctor stuff, school funding, and Portland officials travel. All right, so let's start with the first one. Okay, so this is from the Oregon Journalism Project. It says Oregon's aging population poses challenges for economic revival. Tina Kotek's Prosperity Council will propose fixes later this month. Okay. So Oregon now has the nation's 11th oldest population, and Oregonians in their prime earning years move out of the state. Then comparable newcomers move in. Okay, so 11th oldest population is Oregon. The other ones are Florida, West Virginia, Maine, the New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, Montana, Hawaii. Makes sense, retirement communities. So why is that a problem? Okay, older people earn and spend less than younger people, tending to drag down local economies, according to Carl Riccadonna, State Chief Economist Carl Riccadonna. This is so slow. Areas with disproportionately older populations are at risk of a feedback loop. He says funding and resources get focused on services for older citizens who vote at higher rates, can lead to dwindling resources for public ed and childcare. This scenario can discourage young people from moving into a region. Okay. So, in old places, the older people vote more often. They vote for stuff they want, like no property tax or not funding schools, and then the public education and childcare tend to get neglected, and then young people don't want to move there. And of course, eventually, all these old people will die. And that is just not a way to have a strong economy. So, my solution for this was the Talent Flywheel, which was free public universities, trade schools, and apprenticeships. The idea to attract a talent nationwide, be a magnet for talent by offering people free higher ed and training programs. And if you leave before 5 years, you have to pay the cost back. But this type of idea or this policy could really, I think, kickstart Oregon's economy, and it's just the right thing to do to give people the ability to train themselves for the modern economy. All right, then the next one I want to talk about was this Trout route shuttle. Troutdale launches the Trout route for Sandy visitors this summer. Opened a new public transit service for those looking to enjoy a river getaway or simply just get around town. The shuttle leaves from the Sasquatch Adventure stores at the Columbia Gorge outlets right off Interstate 84 in Troutdale. Trail riders can park at the mall for free. Ride tickets and tube rentals may be purchased at Sasquatch Adventures or purchased in advance. Okay. So the concept is, let's blow this up a little bit. So people park at the outlets, so there's tons of parking, so they're not gumming up the parking at Dabney State Rec area or the Glen Otto Community Park, and so then the shuttle takes them to the river. They float for 2 or 3 miles. It says 3 miles to Glen Otto Community Park. Then takes them back to visitor center or in the outlets. So, and yeah, I had it pulled up before, but it's this part or this area here where the Sandy River starts in at Mount Hood, flows down, by Sandy, obviously, and then ends up over here. It's a good spot for like a tourism attraction because people are already driving over here for the waterfall hikes. So it's good. It's a smart idea, and the reason I'm highlighting it is because, well, when I was running for local office, one of my ideas was to turn the Clackamas River into, an outdoor recreation destination, to basically do the same thing that they're doing in Troutdale, but in Clackamas River. So they have the same problem. Like Carver Park Barton has some parking, but limited, and people have to bring 2 cars if they want to float the river. But one at the bottom, one at the top. And if you had a shuttle, you could just have 1 car, and so you'd free up parking spaces for other people, and it's could potentially be more convenient and could attract tourists and whatnot. And so, I mean, the Sasquatch people put theirs in by their store in the outlets. There's a lot of parking there, so it's not really a comparable place along the Clackamas River unless you're going to do like the Clackamas Mall as the base camp, which that could work. So anyway, I just thought that was a smart idea, and it's a good economic development idea. All right, I'm just gonna close these down. Okay, Oregon couple uses something. Uses social media sketches to advocate for transparency in healthcare. Okay. Okay. An Oregon couple is giving voice to those frustrations through comedy sketches on social media. Dr. and Lady Glauco fucking making TikTok videos during COVID. He's an ophthalmologist. I'm guessing it's an eye doctor who dabbled in stand-up comedy. Okay. So yeah, I've seen this guy's videos. I mean, he doesn't really make me laugh, but he's definitely shining light in a funny way, humorous way on the problem with the American healthcare system. So that is great. Yeah, humor is an effective Trojan horse for educating people. It's a really useful tool for advocacy and making change. I would agree with that. So yeah, why did I pull up this article? It was mostly because of the healthcare. So um, yeah, that's why I wanted to do that. It's mostly for healthcare because there's this like in healthcare proposal. Yeah, basically, I'm looking for like a single payer healthcare system, like a Medicare for all. Basically, is what we're looking for. And the state people are pretty into healthcare for all Oregon. They're trying to do it just by themselves in Oregon, and I think that's probably a bad idea because it's going to be too expensive for Oregon to do it by themselves. So I would propose instead pestering our federal reps to fight for universal health care every session, and if they don't do that, replace them with people who will. And so yeah, I'll have a spot on my website and rankings of the Oregon legislators. um, just gonna make a quick note about that. All right. Yep. Then the other one I wanted to share was Oregon Health Director's New York Times essay draws response from State Primary Care Group. Last month, Oregon Health Authority Director Sejal Hathi penned an essay in the nation's leading newspaper arguing that the healthcare system abandoned her after she gave birth to a child. A few days later, Oregon's largest primary care group sent Hathi a letter outlining ways she might use her official position to help primary care providers treat families in a more holistic way. So, yeah, this one's kind of funny because, you know, she's pointing out a real flaw in the healthcare system. It was like, before you give birth, they're really into it, but after you give birth, they kind of ignore you. And that's nice that she had this experience as it directly impacted her. Again, she is literally the head of the Oregon Health Authority, so please use your power. I mean, maybe this is her using her power by writing an op-ed in the New York Times. So I guess we shouldn't complain, but just kind of hilarious, but whatever. All right, moving on. Oregon school funding formula is broken. Poor students pay the price. Yeah, this one is basically just saying the way that if the formula they use to calculate who's poor and who's not poor is not very accurate, is basically what they're saying. And because of that, the poorest schools aren't receiving the funding that they need. But the trouble is, if you were to give them the funding they need, they would be taking away that money from the richer schools, unless you raise taxes or have a new revenue source to pay for this discrepancy. So it's just highlighting a problem with the formula, basically. And the last one is Portland elected officials, where they traveled and how much they spent. And the winner is this lady with almost $20,000 in travel spent, Candice Allah Avalos. Okay. Interesting. So, anyway, so that's some recent news articles, Oregon Politics Live. Um, I hope in the future to get to a point where, the policy section is more robust and people can vote or comment on the policies they like or don't like. And also a ranking of the, different leaders about how rainmakery they are. But yeah, so I'm hoping to be an influence or positive influence of the state of Oregon. So thank you. See you next time.